Hello and welcome to a series of short interviews with the speakers that will be at the University of Cincinnati Center for Business Analytics Spring Conference Analytics Summit 2024. I'm Tim Scholvat, the Executive Director of the Center. We're pleased to have with us today one of our speakers from the AI Revolution track, Michael Howard. Michael is the founder of Nichefire, a startup company that predicts the impact of emerging cultural trends on brands and consumers. Welcome, Michael.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tim.
Um, predictive modeling. Predictive modeling, which is really what you've based Nichefire on, is critically important to brands, especially in cultural trends. Can you explain why you started Nichefire?
For sure. So my background has been heavily like in consumer insights, digital marketing strategy, that kind of stuff like that. Prior to starting Nichefire, I actually started my own agency, helping smaller, mid-sized businesses understand, the nuances in consumer insights and helping them understand how they can apply that to strategy. I quickly got overwhelmed with that. And I was like, I want to build a product for this. So when we actually initially started Nichefire, our initial premise was to help companies do competitive benchmarking. So how can we compare brands against each other to pick up on white space opportunities? Now, obviously, that's quite a bit different from what we do now. So, we pivoted away from that over the couple of years. But what we really learned from a lot of our, from a lot of the brands and a lot of the folks that we worked with is, they use all these what are called social listening tools. So these are tools that will go out and query data from various social media platforms, news, forums, that sort of stuff like that. Um, None of these tools present the opportunity for more or less present the opportunity for cultural themes, trends, topics that they should be aware of. And so that was a major pain point for one of the customers that we were working with. They came to us like, hey, we use all these different tools, but none of them present to us the cultural trends, themes, topics that we should care about. Everything is we have to know what we want to search for first. So that's where we kind of built the solution is we wanted to be able to help companies understand culture so that way they can dig up the opportunities that are pertinent out there. Now the
Go,
predictive nature, I'm sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say the predictive nature behind these is more or less driven by helping them understand the longevity of the trends that go about for this. So discerning whether or not this is going to be something that they should be investing time, resources in is important for them to know. And so
Yep.
the predictive aspect of this is extremely important because we help them more or less understand the nature of their decisions before they make them. So
Now, an obvious question is, your talk is titled Predicting the Pulse of the World, Understanding Culture and Generative AI and Predictive Analytics. Um, you touched on that probably already a little bit, but what are you going to address during the talk, and what do you want the audiences to take away from the discussion?
sure. So there's probably going to be three things we're going to be covering here. So first off, we're going to show how contextualized data is going to reveal cultural insights about online audiences. That's one big thing. So I mean, with the premise that we're going to be demonstrating, with our platform, with our solution and what we've done and in the sort of work that we've done, is an approach to be able to look at diverse data sets and understand how they commingle. And so understanding the nature of like the consumer or the consumer's journey from one platform to the next. So for instance, we take into account search data, web traffic, news media, social media data to understand the flow of how that trend plays out over time. That's pivotal in understanding the cultural nuances in that. And that feeds into our predictive analytics methods here. So that's the next piece of, we want to be able to demonstrate how you can use, how you can actually discover different predictive analytics methods just by understanding the types of audience interests, the types of trends that can come from all these nuanced measurements there. So we'll show you how we do it. We'll show you kind of like the use cases and for doing that. But this whole approach of being able to syndicate data sources to make profound forecasts is one of the things that we're bringing to the table within this talk. But then we also want to help help the people that come to our session understand how they can leverage these cultural narratives to create meaningful connections with their consumers, or with any other stakeholders that they're trying to trying to make those connections with.
I think your passion about this subject is it just exudes from you, right? Why do you think it's particularly relevant in today's world?
Well, I mean, think about it this way. You, Actually, I'll use a recent example. Are you familiar with? I'm sure you're familiar with all like the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce stuff like that, right?
You can't avoid it.
Yeah. This is actually something we'll be covering our president. We're just using that as a use case.
Yeah.
Cultural elements like cultural phenomena like Taylor Swift, and then you have a very successful football player like Travis Kelce, also to a UC grad as well. So I mean,
we got to point that out.
Yeah. Just by association, Taylor Swift dating Travis Kelce, so Taylor Swift's association there, has generated $330 million for the NFL and Kansas City Chiefs. And after just being at one game, just being seen at one game, Taylor Swift has caused Travis Kelce merch to soar by like 400% in sales just like after attending one of those games. So we've started seeing there's a new phenomenon with Taylor Swift that we're seeing being dubbed as like Swiftonomics, right? So we're seeing like other brands trying to tap into this. So one of our customers, Kraft Heinz, one of the things that they they were clever in doing is picking up on this trend with Taylor Swift, and one of the really prominent pieces of content that came from this was this image of Taylor Swift with a chicken nuggets and like ketchup and what was seemingly ranch.
Yeah.
So Kraft Heinz, they already have a brand of ketchup and ranch, right? They call it Cranch, and so they made a limited edition version of this. They call ketchup and seemingly ranch.
Yeah.
They were selling out like 100 bottles of that, or they weren't selling. It was a contest for that, and so just this effort alone caused like 4.7 billion impressions around this campaign. There's a 61% jump in brand search and inquiries from this. And honestly, I guarantee you there's probably still a bunch of retailers that are busting down their door trying to get access to this product as well.
Yeah.
And so understanding these cultural phenomenons is really in essence understanding the pulse of the world. I'm not really fascinated with this stuff. I mean, like I said, like my background was in consumer insight. Like this stuff is just for some reason it just clicks for me. I just really love it. But I'm also really passionate about the entrepreneurial journey, and I think we built a fantastic product, a fantastic approach, and I absolutely love what we do.
Well, one of the things about the relevance in today's world is consumer insights. You used to have the luxury of looking at previous, you'd get your information in, you'd look at previous month, previous 2 month, and you'd potentially wait for things like focus groups, right? You can't do that because you can get knocked off the shelf real quickly. And I think some of the relevance in today's world has to do with speed, and adaptability, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, like one of the biggest pain points that we picked up on, again, was like that idea of like, hey, we don't know what to search for when it comes to understanding these opportunities or even risks out there. I mean, like there's a lot of use case around that. And so we see a lot of these consumer insights and these social listening and intelligence managers that, you're spending like 60, 80, 100 plus hours in a month just trying to do that process. Trying to discover trying to discover, right?
Yeah.
It's very time consuming. And on top of that too, I mean, with the nature of how culture flows and the nature of opportunities, oftentimes by the time you find it yourself, it's kind of already too late. So
exactly.
we see that way too often.
Well, thank you very much for your time today, Michael. We're looking forward to your talk. Come and see Michael and others at the Analytics Summit 2024 on April 30th at the Sharonville Convention Center in Cincinnati. We'll continue this series over the next few weeks, interviewing other speakers to provide you some insights into what you will experience during that event. Thanks a lot for your time today again, Michael.
Thank you. Appreciate it.